Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana, the hostess with the mostest. Let's get into this. So, tonight we are not going to be discussing one of the elements. We should resume shortly, but the creator told me that it was important for us to have this conversation for tonight. There are people, right, and we've discussed this, I believe, a week ago, maybe, or two, about being connected to things that we have absolutely no control over, right? And it's important for you to know what the dynamics mean, okay? The dynamics within your relationship with those people, places, and things that you have no control over is going to determine how you elevate in your spirituality. Now, if you are no stranger to the spiritual world and you understand that these are probably considered like cycles, some people call them karmic cycles. We have all different types of names, right? But the overall thing is that when you have a relationship or when you are connected to something, you need to have a good understanding of how things work between you two and exactly what needs to be done in order to not only to repair, but to move forward in a healthy fashion. So it's important, and this is like 101, right? We know that the things that bring us together or keep us together, rather, are often toxic. And this doesn't have to be like a physical, relationship. These are all intimate relationships. Remember, we've discussed intimacy and how intimacy is closeness. It doesn't always mean sex, right? How you understand the things now shouldn't be how you understand them later. As you begin to develop and work on yourself, your perspective of these relationships should also be changing because your responsibility and role is going to be shifting. So the way you handle things are going to change. The way you desire things to be are going to change. The way you function and operate as a whole is going to start shifting, right? As you begin to mature and elevate. A lot of these relationships need natural causes in order for them to become healthier than what they are, in order for them to function in traditional ways. We don't have to always have these traditional relationships, right? Sometimes it could be unorthodox, but is it healthy, right? Is it good for all of the parties connected? Is it something you can pass down to your children or to anyone around you, anyone who's watching, because we learn from each other whether we like it or not, good or bad, right? So one of the main ways is to start finding similarities that you both have that you need to work on and work on them together. Even if you don't physically do it together, like you don't have to go to therapy, but really take the time out and assess what it is about you in this dynamic. It could be a place, it could be work, it could be your mom, it could be your husband, it could be your children, it could be anything, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be all. As you begin to assess yourself, the people that you are connected to should also be elevating. And here's the thing. These are not people that you can just get rid of. These are not things you can just get rid of. Or, because a lot of the times when we start to elevate, a lot of the old becomes old and we no longer deal with it. I'm speaking of things that are indeed connected to your life. There has to be some type of ideal that keeps this thing on track. And it can't just be beneficial to you or the other parties. It has to be evenly distributed as far as the benefit goes. And the benefit is not always physical, right? You're not going to always get this reward. Maybe having these relationships will give you a peace of mind and a new perspective of life to give you the wherewithal, on how to move forward in all of the other areas of your life. Maybe it's to get you to understand that life is not what you thought it was. Maybe it is a little bit more important, these things. I'm speaking of these relationships. Maybe they are more important, hence the reason why you can't just get rid of them. What is God highlighting? And I think we talked about this yesterday a little bit at the end of the segment. Just what is God giving you more of and less and less of, right? This ties into that because, again, your relationship with yourself is one part of how you deal with everything around you. How you deal with those things is also a reflection of how you deal with you, but it's also a reflection of your understanding of the things you're dealing with, especially in relation to where you fit in that. What is your role in these relationships? If you're the mother, how do you make sure you have a healthy relationship with your children? Even if the relationship has been damaged, how do you go about repairing without it being self-serving, without it being out of guilt, without it being out of, chaos? How do you embark on a new journey with a party that you feel you want to get away from, but you cannot, or you have been away from and you shouldn't have? This can go either way. And it is always trauma, right? Some trauma is always lying at the center. And this is the reason for the separation or the mishap or the confusion, whatever. Whatever resulted, as whatever the result is based on the trauma, and a lot of people don't even realize that two people in a relationship, not just a union, not just a physical union, all types of relationship, are dealing with their own trauma and they're bringing those traumas together. And it even could be a healthy relationship. This can only happen if there's a full understanding of the roles that each party plays. And I'm more so trying to highlight the how, right? Because we know the problem. We've experienced the problem. We're dealing with the end result of the problem, right? So we don't even have to focus on what the actual trauma is. It can be literally anything. It could be you just, your child not liking you because you're always at work and you never came home. And to you, you're like, I'm doing what I can to provide. But to them, it's like you're never around. Like, I need you. And that's just one thing, one example. We can go on and on. So the trauma doesn't even matter. It happened, right? How do you embark on repairing? Understanding what is needed from you in regards to your role is primary. It's the key to not only the survival, but just the flourishing, right? This is how the flourishing ends. This is how the longevity comes in. And this is how you allow yourself to transit spiritually. This is how you start growing, because we get relationships as gifts, right? We get relationships. Your relationship with the Creator is a gift. You having children is a gift. That's a relationship, the parent-child relationship. You getting a spouse that loves and adores you, that is a relationship. It's a gift. We get people as representations of where we are in our lives. And this also stands for the spirit as well, right? Where you are in the spirit world is reflected in your everyday waking life. You have to be willing to understand that your place is your place, and you have expectations that have been placed on you. And we've talked about the Creator giving us, these rules and assignments as far as our spirit journey goes. And this isn't really that, right? This is you just saying, okay, how do I begin to repair, the relationships that I absolutely have no choice but to, you can back away and not deal with it, and this would be a part of you not completing your journey. That's going to be between you and the Creator. You don't need to listen. You can, in listening now. But if you are committed to fulfilling what it is that the Creator has placed you here for, this is a part of it. God don't bless no mess, right? And a lot of the times when people get the blessings in the midst of their chaos, it's because they're very well on their way to breaking the cycle. Or that is what has broken the cycle. You don't just get something because God wants you to have it for you to piss it away. No, it's for changes to be made. Because a change has been made. And if we're getting some blessings now, this probably happened in the spirit a few generations ago. The Creator wrote it like this, and for this time in this place. But remember, these things happen up in the spirit world first. So this is why it's important for you to work on your spirit, because this is the aspect of you that's transiting, is living longer than your fleshly self. I'm not saying your fleshly version is less important. I'm just saying that taking care of and being tuned into the spiritual aspect of yourself is going to help you flourish in all realities, and it's going to reflect better here. Even if you get good rest, even if you're more at peace, it starts to reflect in your physical life. That's because your spirit is being fed, right? I don't have all the answers. I just know what the Creator gives me. I know what I have dealt with in my personal life. I know what I've been blessed with, and I know what the Creator is allowing in my life to happen. And a lot of the times when you get this warfare, it is a result of many things, but it's mainly related to your family bloodline and things that they have gone through also. And you're coming down the pipe, and you, as the black sheep, as the conscious one, as the religious one, as the outcast, as the outsider, whatever you are labeled, right? As the one that's different from everybody around you, you have been given the keys. Hence the reason you want to listen to what I'm saying. Hence the reason you can understand what we're even talking about. This is jibber jabber to someone who's not spiritually, aware, right? So this goes back to your desire to even want to change. How do you fix these relationships? Number one, you gotta want to. You gotta want to see the change. You have to want to be the change you want to see, right? We hear that all the time, but we don't really realize, okay, it really actually means that not only am I applying what I've learned to my life, I'm applying it and giving it to other people. There's a major difference between the two. We know that. All you can do is your part. And that's the next thing, right? Just knowing that you can do your part, and that's it. Anything else, you got to leave it up to God. If people are not picking up what you're putting down, then it's not really much you could do about it. The only thing you could do is pray, fast, and just take care of yourself. And pray and hope that God is really, really trying his hardest to make this thing work if that's what he wants. You do your part, and you know that. I'm not saying that God is trying. I'm saying this is what's going to happen because God said it's supposed to happen. And that's just that. But, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. How do we start fixing these relationships with people that we absolutely have no choice but to be connected to? How do you fix it? All right, but I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I do love y'all. I hope y'all are enjoying y'all weekend and definitely drinking y'all water, eating y'all fruit and y'all vegetables, and sipping on your own tea. Why? Because it's free. And yeah, we got postponed because of the rain. So next week. All right. Love y'all. Peace.